What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gaige. This is episode 77, season 3, in the studio, brought to you in part by Cito Huntington. Are you a member? Visit Cito.com and join today. And J&M Seafood of East Northport and East Setauket. Stop on by and tell Matt and Angelo Captain Gaige sent you, and we say hello. Also, Volpe Marine Service. Head over to VolpeMarine.com. What's up, guys? Can you believe it? This is officially season 3, and I'm supposed to be on my boat. It's like 80 degrees out there, but I'm going to go home after this podcast and paint the bottom of the boat and get it going. It'll be in the water this week, so super excited about that. I'll be out there fishing with you guys. The Fishing League is live. The leaderboard is live. It's happening, so this is incredible, I got to tell you. So a lot of great things happening. I mean, first off, we had New York Yankee Jim Leyritz endorsed the Fishing League. You saw that posted on social media today. So he's a 3-time World Series champion. That was incredible. A lot of great things going on. So there's so much to talk about. This is going to be a great episode. But first, when we started this podcast sitting on the back of the boat 3 seasons ago, which was, really 77 episodes ago, so 77 weeks, because we did stay very consistent as far as not missing any episodes. Maybe just not numbering them all correctly. That would be the worst case scenario. But for the most part, every week a new episode did go out of Bay Rats and Buoys. And we really built a very cool fishing community with the podcast, from going to the shows, creating a tournament, creating a fishing club, and now with the launch of the Fishing League in the tri-state area, it's really come to, it's like full 360. This is unbelievable. It really is. So I got to shout out and say hello to the guys in the community, because you guys mean so much to Bay Rats and Buoys. And you always hear me talk about him, Manny from the West. He was in the fishing club meeting. This week I had the fishing club meeting at my studio in Kings Park, which is a 10,000 square foot facility. So when guys walked up the stairs and walked in, they were like, whoa, what the hell goes on in here? And, it's an incredible place. It really is. Very cool. But even Frank, you got a guy like Frank in our club that is so hands-on with doing everything on his boat and installing the Hummingbird and the Minn Kota. He splashed down this week. Super excited about his Robalo that he's got over there in BYC. I can't wait to get out there and fish with him early next week. We got Tony Maja coming on the podcast in May. We got Kurt from Pursuit, who you saw at the boat show. We're going to be sitting on a Pursuit this time with Kurt in May, doing the podcast from the boat. We'll be out there with the East End Anglers. A big shout out to them. So it really is. Amanda from the Paddle Pub. There are so many people that Bay Rats and Buoys has to thank and, and say what's up to. We got Andrew and Mike. The champ is here. And Andrew's a mechanic working on boats now at one of the local yards up in Comac there on Jericho Turnpike at American Marine. So, you got guys in the fishing club picking his brain, with things they're doing. A lot of guys are in, bottom painting and de-winterizing the boat and getting it all ready now. So it's great to have, we have mechanics, Jumping Jack Bass, we missed you this week in the meeting. We were hoping you could zoom in like you did last time, because you were an integral part of that, the fishing club, even though you were on the Zoom call. We got guys that are harbor masters, DEC, police. We got everybody in the fishing club. It's very exciting. It's this time of the year now we're going to start to challenge other clubs. Frank was super excited this morning. The water temperature is actually up to 54 degrees in the back. So these days that are 80 degrees like this, it's really going to start to heat up and do nothing but turn those fish on. And even Brandon from Causeway Bait and Tackle, he's coming over to our area to fish right now, which is super cool. He's posting pictures of fish, and he's on the bass. He's out there doing it. And we know Jersey's been on fire, but see me talking about that. And it's not that I'm missing everybody. I'd love to shout out to everybody with Rob and Howie. They created a family division team that they put into the league. The Salty Boy, what are they called? I'll remember the name. The Salty Dogs. They're the Salty Dogs, and Andrew and Mike, they were the Bunker Boys. And what was the one that came in last night? from the fishing tournament. Somebody signed up, and Hold My Sinker. Hold My Sinker was the name of the fishing team. So it's great to see guys joining the league, putting team names in, being creative, getting involved, and the evolution of that. You know what I mean? The fishing league really is the evolution of the community that we created here at Bay Rats and Buoys, and it's incredible. It really is. And now even the guys that we collaborate with and invite to collaborate on reels and whatnot, we're all doing it back and forth. Like the East End Anglers, they were here in this studio filming with Matt Broderick doing a podcast for themselves for East End Angler. And they just sent me the video and, asked me to collaborate on it. And, of course, I'm going to collaborate on it. I produced it for them. They did the editing and all that stuff, so I gave them the audio and the film. And it was great having them. They were also guests on Bay Rats and Buoys. It was a fantastic episode. If you're into any pelagic species and tuna fishing and you want to check it out and you missed it, it's always up on the YouTube channel. So that's why I pay homage to the people that we work with and work closely with and do stuff with. And I know I'm forgetting names, and it's all good. I'm not working off of any lists or any papers here on my phone. There's nothing here for me to tell you about. But it's time to get out there and fish. I mean, this is it. 80 degrees. I'm going home to paint the bottom of the boat and get that thing ready. So next week will be splashdown. I'll be back here. We got charters next week. Every day we're booking charters. And this is going to be our busiest April and May for sure, without a doubt. One of the busiest. And I got to say, we get phone calls from people all over the place. SandCityCharter.com, that website, we get a lot of visitors there. So we definitely have some cool stuff happening as far as, the web presence and the social media with Bay Rats and Buoys. And last week I checked the analytics on Facebook, and we were getting 72,000 views a month on Facebook. And they reach out to me. Meta reaches out because of Facebook and Instagram, and even TikTok. They promote stuff for you when you're putting up quality content. And they reach out to you. They send you messages. I have the messages to put up on the screen here and show to you. I can show you the analytics, all that stuff. It's pretty cool. The metrics on it are really cool. Really is. So it's nice that we sit down, record in 4K, and put out good quality. To me, that's always been important. And this show started on the back of the boat with a GoPro. That's how it started, on the back of the boat with a GoPro shooting in 4K and a microphone. So anybody out there, you want to go podcast on your boat and create a podcast, you need help, you want some influence and you want some direction, I'd be more than happy to help you. If you own a business and you want to get into podcasting, feel free to reach out to me. I will show you how I can help produce and direct the podcast for you, like I do with my executive networking event that I host over at Ohika Castle, which is coming up next month in May. So there's always something happening. There is. But big shout out and thank you to Jimmy Leyritz for endorsing the fishingleague.com. That video went out today, and it was getting serious traction on Facebook. It had over 1,000 views in no time. And it's a short video, so it's easy to watch, and people can share it, which is what we recommend to any of the people in our fishing club and whatnot. You guys got to get more involved like Frank did. He's like, I got to keep the algorithm alive. We love you, Frank. I love the way you think. I really do. And we're lucky to have a guy like you in the fishing club. Trust me. And I'm excited to get out there with you next week on that beautiful boat of yours that you shined up and made look amazing all winter. And I'm excited for you that it splashed down and that you got over to your slip and everything worked, which is not always the case for everybody. They run it at home, they go down to the ramp, they put it in the water, and whoops, halfway down the channel, it conks out on them. They're like, what the hell? Happens all the time. Trust me, I'm a commercial tow captain. There's people already breaking down. Tows have already happened. So there's nothing you can do about it, guys. It's, on the South Shore, the saying is there's only two types of boaters, those that have run aground and those that are going to run aground. And, the same applies to boaters as far as your boat breaking down. There's only two types of boaters, those that have broken down and those that are going to break down. So I always say it's great to have a membership with a on-water marine assistance provider, and this way you're going to get help in a timely fashion when you need that help, because I could tell you instances where there's families sitting out there in the Long Island Sound on, race boats, and it's broken down, and they got a family, they got newborn, they got nothing, no bimini top, nothing, and they're getting cooked in the sun, and their boat's broken, and everybody thinks, I'll just call my buddy, he's going to come out and help me. It's not that easy. Trust me when I tell you, it's not that easy for you to buddy just to pull up on a boat and help you. It's not. So that's one of my biggest recommendations to you. And this way, I don't have to say I told you so. I'm going to hear stories of people breaking down. I hear them all the time. I do. But that's my recommendation to you as a professional captain in the industry, to get some sort of membership. And, that's up to you. Some people will choose to spend $250 on a cooler. And some people like me will spend $250 on a marine service provider and a cooler. So I have to have both. And you know what's in here, right, John? Clam Slammers. I got Diet Cokes in here. You know that. But I already have an ice cold one already over here. This way I don't have to reach in today and drip all over myself. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt in the studio today. It's time for the air conditioning. It really is. I hope I hit record over there on the audio. There's times where you go and do shit and do production, and there's all kinds of shit happening, People don't realize what goes into a production besides lighting and audio and the cameras and the set and just air conditioning and the noises and all that fun stuff. So I know what I do in here. I make it look easy, but I know it's not that easy. In fact, I was laughing with Tony Maja. And I was on the phone with Anthony, and I posted the video on Instagram from him at the New Jersey Saltwater Expo. I started to put up those clips. And, he commented about the way he talks in a camera. And I'm going to tell you guys, straight up, when somebody shows up in front of your face with a GoPro and a microphone and points it at you, it's not that easy to say what you want to say in front of the camera. It's not. It really isn't. I get it. I totally understand. And I love the pressure. There's no pressure. And just like I say, this is unscripted and raw. There's no teleprompters here. And that's it. So it's easier for me to do it that way. Because if I got to read off of stuff in a teleprompter, it's going to be looking at the words and reading it. That's not personality and fun. I'm actually a fun dude. I have a lot of fun on my boat. Me and Corey came back. He was out of the country. He came back yesterday, and he's fired up to get over here to the studio because we're starting to load stuff out of here and bring it over to the boat and get the boat all loaded up and ready to go. Because once we put it in, that's it. We're set for the season. And, you're going to see some upgrades this year. There's going to every year. Last year I did electronics. I did a full SIMRAD package and went with the side scan and all that fun stuff. And I'm probably going to jump on this Hummingbird Minn Kota, between Manny and Frank and Rob. Rob had live view on his boat. And, the electronics now, me and Anthony were laughing about that because, now the kids these days, they call everybody up and they just want, Latin longitude, and they get out there and they can see a fish fart from 40 miles away, and, they wouldn't know what to do if they didn't have the electronics. Where I tell Corey, we'll tell anybody, we'll outfish you. We don't even need to turn our phones on. We know where to go. We know what to do. We know what to look for. And I tell everybody all the time, find the bait, you're going to find the fish. So go around and look for the bait. And if you look for birds, that's a telltale sign that something's happening over there. There's bait there because the birds want to eat the bait. The fish force the bait up. The birds eat the bait. You go catch the fish. It just all works hand in hand. It's a lot of fun like that. So we love having a good time on the boat. We do. And even in some of the Google reviews that people write about us on the charter, it's pretty funny. And somebody that comes out with us all the time, here's a crazy request we got this week. But the music. So the point about the Google reviews is people write that the fishing charter was amazing. We caught 20 striped bass. It was a great trip, but the music was just as good as the fishing. And to us, that's important. We have fun. When a boat's cruising out there, we're playing music. We don't want to be thumping bass and playing music while. So somebody was talking about this in the fishing club meeting, that making noise on the boat, that they actually had something that they put in the water to make noise and attract striped bass. And most people think you make noise, you're going to scare the fish away. So this was the total opposite. You know, it was like, pff, holy shit. And so we're going to find out. We're going to test some of these things out. So one of my clients that comes out a couple of times a year, he takes his son out. And the music on his trip is even more important because he's from down under, and great father and son duo. They really are. And Anton Jr. caught the fastest fish on his first trip with us. I mean, Corey handed him the rod, opened up the bail, dropped it down, or pressed the button. I don't remember which reel he was using. And before it even got to the bottom, the rod was bent, and we thought he was playing. We thought he was joking, like he was making it bend, and he had a fish on it like seconds. And I was like, that was definitely the fastest fish caught on our boat. So Anton Sr. reached out with a text message this week and asked, his son got an underwater drone. We take these guys magnet fishing. They bring magnet fishing stuff on the boat. Last year we caught a lobster trap, a ghost one, nevertheless, in the back of Lloyd Harbor. And all kinds of cool stuff. So it was great to get the request that he wants to get out there and use this underwater drone and see what the temperature is 10 feet below. And he wants to do this study for school. And here he is, a young kid, you know, so we're probably looking at a future marine biologist here. So watch out, Captain Jacob. Anton Jr. is coming for you. He's going to have a oyster farm in the Peconic right next to yours. But he's also about this big right now, so you got plenty of time to get some more land out there, Jacob. And, you know, I always talk about the Davy Jones Shellfish Company because Captain Jacob and I trained together on one of the commercial towboats. Awesome dude. And when he told me about his spearfishing and he showed me videos, I was like, dude, done. I am coming with you. And I did. And I got to get back out there this year, 100%. That's on my list of things to do. So if you want to come join us, that was another division I actually thought I could throw into the league, you know, that there could be a spearfishing division. But the place out east that everybody goes to has a spearfishing tog tournament, and I think that's awesome. So this year, speaking of tournaments, Bay Rats and Buoys' second annual Striped Bass Invitational, June 27th and 8th, all right? And it's a 2-day event. Very excited about that. So that's growing. I've already sent out links for people to sign up for that because they wrote in and said, hey, shoot me the link. I want to sign up early for the tournament and get in, which I thought was kind of cool. We love that kind of support. It helps, no doubt about it. But let's talk about this fishing community that has now grown into a fishing league in the tri-state area. And due to the technology and the advancements that we made on the website, we were able to say, you know what? I didn't want to hold back. I felt, I'll say this, I felt bad. I felt guilty that I wasn't letting the South Shore in on the league. And, I mean, instantly, we just opened that up last week and broke it that, hey, guys, it's available on the South Shore. And there were already eight teams in the open division. I mean, people signed up right away. And even a couple of solo anglers. I called guys this week. I called people from the league because we got to getting everybody their measuring device. China had screwed shit up, which you always expect. You know, I won't throw Corey under the bus for that one. But today, I got a big shipment coming of measuring devices that we're going to get out to guys. And, thanks to Brandon over at Causeway Bait and Tackle, guys on the South Shore can head over there and pick up their measuring device. Guys in Huntington are going to head over to High Hook and pick them up over at High Hook. So we're working that out. And we are going to stop by all of the tackle shops. We're going to hit as many as we can in the tri-state area. We're going to be on the road a little bit, me and Corey. It's going to be road trip time. Bringing in flyers and stuff that we need to get on the counters so that guys can sign up for the fishing league in the tri-state area. It obviously has grown into something pretty extravagant. It's going to be a ton of fun. And here's the best part. You don't need to rush back and weigh any fish in, okay? You create your team. You pick your team name. You go online, you register. So now you have your team. You're on the leaderboard. You go out, you fish. You take a picture of the fish on the measuring device from your phone. You submit it on the website, and boom, that fish total equates to points on the leaderboard, and that is how you are going to compete all season long for 8 months. And the monthly featured species, that leaderboard resets every month. So somebody's going to win April. Somebody's going to win April for the most points for striped bass in April. And then, boom, that monthly featured species leaderboard resets in May. It's a whole new monthly featured species tournament leaderboard for the month of May, and somebody's going to win May, okay? And that's why we're getting more and more sponsors now, because we're going to be giving out prizes for the winners, and you're going to win gear. You're going to win all kinds of cool stuff. So the Fishing League, we wanted it to be very simple. You couldn't have to run a fish back to a weigh station, because what are you going to do with a 40-inch fish? You can't keep it. So what? You're out there catching big fish like me and Corey do, and you can't submit it? So that's how we had to figure this out. And we did. And we did a great job with this, trust me. It is going to be epic. So not only is there a monthly featured species, now you could submit 3 of those per month. Okay, so get out there and catch 3 striped bass and submit them. Then there's also an open species, which means you can catch any legal species that we have on the list and submit 1 of those per month. So you're going to catch 3 featured species and 1 open species, and you will get points for those 4 fish on the leaderboard, and that's how it accumulates all season long. So it's not like somebody can go out there and fish every day and catch 40, 50 fish and get all those points and beat you in 1 month because you didn't get out there and fish as much. We had to make this so it's fair for everybody, and we did. And that is what makes this so much fun, and it's so awesome. So don't be intimidated by this. This is so simple. Just go register a team. Just get involved. You are absolutely going to love it. Even if you only fish a few months throughout the season, who cares? Get involved. You could win those couple of months. And one of the months, the monthly featured species was albies and bonito, okay? Now, I said to my fishing club in the meeting that we had, I said, we got to add another species to that, because not a lot of guys are going to get out there and be able to catch these goddamn fish. They're not easy to catch. Not everybody's Dave Flanagan. He's the albie whisperer, so not everybody's going to catch them like Dave does. And of course, Andrew in our group, he was chasing them. He was out there chasing them. He got them. And he said he spent so much money on gas to go get them. And now he's got a much bigger boat. So Andrew, and guys, guess what? Gas prices are going to be high. This season, you could be looking at $6 a gallon on the water. I see some boats leaving on trailers going to fill up and coming into a gas station, filling them up before they go launch them. You know what I mean? And having a tank with the ethanol in it for the first start of the season ain't going to matter. But on the water, when you pull up to a marine gas station, to a marina, you're going to get ethanol-free gas. So there is a difference. However, people may not run as far this year based on gas prices. That happens all the time when the gas prices go up. Because you get a guy like Eric who has 66600s. I can't wait to see what it costs to fill up a bladder to get out to the canyons and whatnot. Really? No, seriously. So it's going to be exciting this year. It really is. The tuna bite is always a big deal. It's grown to be this amazing, epic fishery here in the Northeast. And if you ask me, it's been a fad. It's like something really everybody's getting into. Because you don't have to go as far to get them. You don't have to run out to the canyons to go get them. You could head over to the Rockaways. Shit, you can get them off at Jones Beach. Me and my kids were fishing for sharks at Gilgo, and I have drone footage here I could put on the screen to show you. And I flew out a second drone, the drone that had a good camera, the Mavic Pro 2 that I have. The original Mavic was the one I was using to fly the bait out and drop the bait off from an outrigger clip on the drone to catch the sharks. And my kids were hooked up to sharks, and my son saw a big boiling going on way out, half a mile out. And he's like, Dad, you see the bluefish out there? He's like, look at that. It's going crazy. I'm like, That is so far away from us right now that there's no way that's bluefish. That we wouldn't see that kind of thrashing that we're seeing from here, and the wakes that these fish were making that we saw with the drone. And they were tuna just airing out, and it was insane. And then somebody pulled up on the beach next to us that took this photograph that I'll put up here of me holding the mouths, because obviously I'm going to let my kids hold the tails of the fish, but if they're going to grab the tail, I'm controlling the mouth of that fish, because these things can turn in a U shape and grab your ankles. So we had them in the right position. I'm all about safety. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I've been opened up. Now that I got shorts on, I can show you the scar I got from a cow nose stingray on the beach. Shark fishing, so you live and you learn. And it was really just a wave that washed him up against me, the reason that he hit me with the barb. But, I was holding the mouths of the sharks while my kids were holding the tails, and a passerby took the photograph of us because they were like, well, what are the chances that your kids are doubled up on sharks on the beach? They're like, what an epic photo, So I appreciated them taking it. And then they're like, did you see the tuna? And my son's like, did we see the tuna? We flew the drone out. We hooked into one, and it ran the reel and snapped 80-pound braid like it was nothing. I don't think we were prepared for that one. But it could have been the line, too, wasn't, we had been using it for sharks for a while now. And could have been the line. The line could have been weak. So, this was an episode that I wanted to shout out to a bunch of people. Thank, the sponsors and all the people that sat down with us, because now season 2 is in the books. This is officially season 3, and season 3 kicks off the league. I mean, this just happened this week. And the fact that it's 54 degrees in the back, that's the magic number. So if we're at that temperature before May, that would be crazy, because usually it's like May 3rd and we're up around 52 degrees. And that's out in the bay. That's out in the deeper water. So it'd be nice to see that the temperatures are rising with these hot days and hot nights that we're going to have. It does drop down a little bit next week. I remember looking at it and saying, oh, there it goes. It's going to be back. The nights are going to be 33 degrees. Next Tuesday, 48 degrees. So 38 degrees at night on Monday, 47 degrees during the day. So Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be chilly next week. That cold snap could shut the bite down. That happens all the time. So these are the things that I try to educate people on, is that barometric pressure and the temperature has a lot to do with what the fish are going to be chewing on and whether they're feeding or not. Because there were days last year we had, what we have, the rain blitz of 2025. There was Lockjaw Thursday, that day that everybody was fishing. Nobody could catch a fish, and we're all looking at each other like, what the hell's going on? We see them. They're here. They're everywhere, and they're not chewing. So that was Lockjaw Thursday. There were a lot of great dates last year. Last year was an epic year. It really was. We had a ton of fun. We really did. And if you guys want to come out with me and Corey, hit us up. We are a charter business. We do run a charter boat. We have a small Hydra Sports with a OX66 on the back, and we know how to use it to catch fish. So if you want to come out and have a great time with us, come have some fun with us, 100%. And what we really want now, moving forward with season 3, because we got a lot going on with social media, and we really want to get people involved in the comments. And I try to answer them all the time, because people do write some really cool comments, and we write back and let you know that we see what you're writing and we appreciate you commenting, like Frank said, to keep the algorithm going. But no, you just want to comment on videos and get involved, even if it's on Facebook, if you see something. So we are going to ask you in season 3 to start smashing the like button. I got to say this. There are also a ton of people that listen to this podcast, just the audio version, that they've never seen the video, that they hear about the video. They hear me saying I'm going to put it on the screen, but they're driving in their car. Howie's listening to it on the way home from work on the train, and it's better than having to sit there and look down at your phone. You just put it in your ear pods and you're done, so I get it. And the people that listen to us in other countries, that's crazy. For this to grow to that is incredible. But truthfully, I want to thank you guys. Because of you, season 3 is now underway next week I will be on my boat or somebody's boat or just sitting on the goddamn dock in the marina. No, I'll be sitting on my boat. I'll definitely be sitting on my boat in the marina and doing the podcast from on the boat, but not if it's 47 degrees. I'll tell you that right now. 47, I'm in the studio. It's got to be at least, I say 55 is a threshold, but I'd really like in the 60s. Give me like 62, I'm not wearing shorts if it's in the 50s. So, it's 80 degrees out there today. Get out there, catch some fish. Listen to Bay Rats and Buoys. Chime in, hit the like button, send us some comments, and moving forward, every single episode, I am going to pull out the gear that we use and show you every single thing that we're using, throwing, doing, and stuff that's going to make you better at this, help you catch some more fish. And I am a captain for hire, so I am a licensed United States Coast Guard captain. And people do hire me to teach them out on their boat, how to drive their boat, how to do close quarter maneuvering, all that fun stuff. So when you get back to the dock, you're not crashing into other people's boats. And like I always tell Corey and other people, the bigger the boat, the easier it is to drive, the better the technology on the boat. The hardest boat to drive is a single screw boat. That is 100% very true. And one of the guys here in the studio was a member of the Freedom Boat Club, and I trained him. He had a boat previously, and when I went out on his boat out of the Leyritz, and we're in one of these back canals, the dock was so shady. I stepped on it, and I'm like, oh, my God, dude, somebody could totally fall. The dock is wobbling. We get on his boat. He hits every pillar in the marina getting out of there, and it turns out then I wound up training him when he joins the Freedom Boat Club, and I taught him this special maneuver that I have that I teach every boater, what to do with the throttle and what to do with the steering wheel in the tightest quarters, no matter where you are, okay? Now, you got to take into account the wind, the current. All those things are going to affect you, yes. But let's just say there's no wind and no current, and we have a 15-foot boat in a 20-foot room in here. I could spin that boat around in a circle with a single engine. And spinning around in a circle, no problem. And when you teach people how to do that and that they can have that much control of their boat in close quarters around other boats, you get a sense of confidence that, okay, I know what to do now. I know how to handle this situation. So, like I say to everybody out there, just like my kids with ice hockey now, they're in training clinics tomorrow night. They're super excited. They're home training and working on, all kinds of stuff. The more you train, the better you're going to be at it. Eric and I were just laughing in a text message because he said to me, you trained me at the Freedom Boat Club. I trained him on a Jeannot Mary Fisher, and he went and got a 34-foot regulator. He went from the 34-foot regulator to a 38 outrage. And now he went from the 38 outrage to a 40-foot Conquest with triple 600s on the back. You talk about beast mode. Eric, you are officially in beast mode, and it's so awesome to see you grow into the boats that you've grown into, that now you can handle them. You take them to the city. You take them anyway. You can go, we're going to the Flemish Caps. And that Conquest, by the way, we are taking it out to the canyons, 150%. There's no doubt about it. Next week, or we should be on Brandon's boat, heading out to Raritan Bay. We'll throw the drone up. We'll show you some really cool footage. We're going to podcast, hopefully, from Raritan Bay with Brandon. That will be epic. We got Kurt from Pursuit in May. We got Tony Maja. Anthony's going to be on the podcast in May. He's coming out to Long Island. So, a lot of big guests lined up moving forward. Tomorrow, I do the sports podcast here in the studio. We're going to have Marshall Falk, 12-year NFL player and head coach. So, it's always fun things happening. But who better than Jimmy Leyritz from the New York Yankees, 3-time World Series champion, to endorse the Fishing League? Thank you, Jimmy. We love you. That was awesome. And let's close out episode 77, guys. Let's make this short and sweet. Go register your team. Pick out a cool name. Sign up for the Fishing League. And if you've been watching and you've been listening and you've been following along, it is now your turn to get involved. All right? The Fishing League is alive. Season 3 is here. And let's go. It is time to get out there and catch some fish, guys. Super excited. Captain Gaige, episode 77, kickoff of season 3, Fishing League. I'm signing off. That's it. Captain Gaige, over and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gaige on all our social media channels.